So this theorem states that the side opposite to the 90 degree, we'll study about three basic trigonometric ratios. First is called as sine. We already know that we have four quadrants, halves of the trigonometric ratios that we are studying. First, the graph pertains to, this is the graph of sine theta, so the basic angles that are given. So you have to find or know that. Hello friends, welcome to another knowledge building series for IGCSE mathematics. Today we are going to take some topics that are related to trigonometry that were left in trigonometry 1, in which we have studied some basics concepts of angles and sides. So today we are going to deep dive and have fun with trigonometry. But before we begin, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. So first of all, we have to see in this that how to represent the angles and the side, and how to apply the rules that are sine and cosine rules for application on various sides and angles. So first of all, what you have to do, you have been given a general triangle in which the angles may or may not be equal to 90 degree. So here is the catch for that. So see, you have to only consider the angle. Let's suppose if you are standing or if you are at angle B, the side opposite to angle B will be termed as small b. Similarly, it goes for A and C also. So if I'm standing on, or I am at B vertex, then if I look to the opposite side, I'll mark it as smaller side B. Similarly, for angle A, I'll mark the opposite side as smaller a. And similarly for vertex C, this is a capital C, students, and if I'll mark it the opposite side as smaller c. So what basic or crux that I'm finding out from it is that you have to take the smaller sides or the denotation according to the angles only. So if I'm at angle A, the side opposite to that will be a smaller side A. Okay, I hope you got the concept of this. You can make these three triangles and note some bullet points that I've already mentioned, and then we'll proceed with the questionnaire and the concept part. Okay student, now let's have some fun with trigonometry and study some basics that are essential. First is the sine rule. So sine rule is applicable on general triangles, and it is not mandatory that it should be a right angle triangle. So what does sine rule says that we already studied about the representation. So as you can see here, that sine rule represents that either the smaller a, that is the side opposite to angle A, over sine of angle A would be equals to smaller b, that is side opposite to angle B, over sine of angle B, which will be equals to c, that is the side opposite to angle C, over sine C. Or similarly vice versa, you can reverse or reciprocal and formulate this. So I hope you are getting the concept. So basically, if I'm talking about this angle, so the side will be opposite to that will be a smaller a. Similarly for B, that will be B, and for C, that will be a smaller c. So this correlation is applicable when the angle or any of the angle is not 90 degree and all angles are given to be different. So this is applicable over there. You can note this, and then we'll proceed with the question and understand the basic applicability of this sine rule. Okay students? Okay students, I hope you have noted it down and understood the basic concept, even a minute thing. So let's begin with the question part and understand how sine rule is applicable. So here I have been given a triangle. Here you can see that the angle, first angle is given as to be 21 degree, another angle is given as to be 35 degree, and the question says that use the sine rule to find the side length marked x to three significant figures. Make sure you make note of this, as you cannot increase, or your answer should be always or as marked in the question. Okay, so how to proceed with that students? So see, I have to find this side x. So it is up to you which angle or which side you want to take into consideration. Let's suppose if I have what? I have two angles and two sides and the opposite sides are given. So I can use the relation till B. What does that mean? So I can use the relation till A over sine A, which will be equals to B over sine B. Okay. So I have, in this I have got two angles and I have got two sides. So this relation will be helpful in finding the answer. Okay. Now I am supposing that this is angle A. Now the side opposite to this, that is length x, will be denoted as small a. Similarly, if I'll talk about this 35-degree angle, so the side opposite to this, that is length 23, will be denoted as smaller b. Okay, now just apply the basic formula. So a this is represented as what? X over sine of a, that is sine of 21 degree, which will be equals to b, which is, what is b, students? B is given as to be or denoted as the length by 23. Similarly, sine of the angle that is opposite, that is sine of 35 degree. Now I have to find x. So x will be what? 23 multiplied by sine 21 degree over sine of 35 degree. I hope you can calculate, or we can calculate together. You can open your calculator along with that. 23 multiplied by sine 1, which will be divided by sine of 35 degree. So the answer for x is coming as to be what? I have to find for three significant figures. So I'll write till 4. Okay, sorry, this is coming as to be 14.37. Okay, so I have to find the answer up till three significant figures. So three significant figures will be what? I'll add 1 to this. So my answer is coming as to be x equals to 14.4. Okay, I hope you got the basic concept of sine rule. Now we will move to the more complex question. In this, as we have already studied that I have a common side, I have to primarily focus on that. So I'll focus on the length BD. As I can see here that I have been given two angles, okay, and one side is given. If I am able to find this side BD, okay, so I form a common intersection point between the triangle. This is, I'll number it, this is triangle number 1 and this is triangle number 2. So I can find a correlation or a common link between triangle 1 and triangle 2. Okay, so let's just get started. So I'll erase this. Okay, so in triangle ABD, so I'll apply the sine rule. So I want this length BD, so I'll consider this angle as A only, you can write. Similarly, this BD side will be equals to A, and if I want this, I will denote this angle, that is B point, that is point D, as B. Similarly, the side opposite to this will be denoted as small b. Now apply and find your answer. So BD over sine 77 degree would be equals to what? You can see here that I can find that the smaller b is 14 and the sine of 51 degree. Now length of BD will be how much, students? BD will be equals to 14 multiplied by sine 77 degree over sine 51 degree. Now you can find this common length. We'll find it together. So 14 multiplied by sine of 77 degree, as that denotes the angle, which is divided by sine of 51 degree. So this is coming as to be what, student? Coming as to be 17.55. Okay, now I have got the length of A as 17.55. Now I want what? I want to measure the angle of as BCD. So as you can see here, this is the angle BC. Now I can use the sine rule also to find. So I am denoting this angle in this triangle as A. Okay. So this side automatically becomes A in both the triangles. Now I am denoting this angle as B as already stated. Okay. So this is B and this will be a smaller b. Now directly applying sine rule in triangle BCD. So that will be what? A, that is 17.55 over 17.55 over what? Sine of angle BCD I am writing, that I have to find. Similarly, that will be what? B, that is 30 over sine of 82 degree. Okay, so what I am saying, that this is the B point. I am just looking to the opposite side. I can find that this is the smaller b, and I am checking the sine of that angle which we are talking or taking into consideration. Okay, so I'll move and shuffle it. So this will be 17.55 multiplied by sine 80 degrees. Okay, this will be going to this side. Okay, and 30 will be coming to the bottom. So this is coming as to be what? Sine of angle B. Okay, now you can solve it. So this will be what? 17.55 multiplied by sine of 82, which will be divided by 30. So I am getting the value as what? So I can write it here, students. So I am getting the value as 0.579, which is equals to sine of angle BC. Now as we have studied, if I have what? I have to find the angle and any trigonometric ratio is there, so I have to take the inverse on both the sides. So I am taking inverse on both the sides. So you can write here, students, I am making an arrowhead for your relevance. So this is what? The angle B equals to sine inverse of 0.579. So angle B equals to, so I'm taking a sine inverse. What to do? Yes, repeat with me. Shift plus sine, and in bracket put the value 0.579. So this is coming as to be what? 35.38. Now I have to find the value up till what? 3 significant figures. So this will be converted as 35.4 degrees. You can write your answer as what? This is coming as to be, I can write here directly, 35.4 degrees. I hope you got the basic concept of sine rule. You can note these questions down for your relevance and future learning. Okay, students, I hope you got the concepts of sine rule. Now let's move to another interesting rule that is called as the cosine rule. So in cosine rule, what's the applicability or where you have to apply these? That if you have been given two sides and an included angle, let's suppose if I have this, if I have the value of A and C and the angle between them, that is angle number B. So this can be used to apply the cosine rule. So you have to see here that the opposite side should be given, or the sides should be given in such a manner that the angle is included between them. So I can see that the combination is coming as to be what? It could be either A, B and angle C, B, A, sorry, this will be B, C and angle A. Okay. So what I am taking into consideration, that the sides are coming and the angle that is opposite to the alphabet or the leftover alphabet is coming. So if I am taking the sides as A and B, I am taking the cos of angle C. If I am taking the sides as A and C, so cos of angle B is coming into consideration. Similarly, if I am taking B and C, then the cos of angle A is coming into consideration. So I hope you are getting some relevance and how to correlate this cosine rule. Okay. And second part is if all three sides are given. So two conditions are there. First is that two sides and an included angle is given. And second criteria is that, or second condition if you want to use it as, that all three sides are given to you. Okay, now what cosine rule says that these are the three basic concepts or application of this cosine rule. So the square of the side will be equals to the addition of the squares of other two sides, and if you have to subtract what, twice of the sides, that is multiplication of both the sides, and the cos of the leftover angle, that is the angle between them. Similarly, you can see a correlation, that how to remember this. If I have to find what, a square or a, the side that I'm talking about, then move to the other vertex. So here I am seeing that. So I have to find what, I'll write this in a circular manner. And okay, now I have to find what, I have to find the value of a. Okay, so I'll remove this a. Okay, now I will take the other two vertices, or the other two lengths, or the alphabets that I'm taking. So I'm talking about the lengths here, b and c. So I'll square and add it up. Okay, this is what, square. Okay, I am taking now what, the length of a. So I will exclude this a part and I will move to the cyclic manner of b and c. So I will take the square of b and square of c, and what needs to be subtracted, the twice of the product of both. So twice of bc. Along with that, you have to take the cos of only angle that is in between both the sides, that is cos of a. Okay, now we can formulate the answer. You can see here. So if I'm finding for b, I have to move for the other two vertices, that is a and c. So c square plus a square minus twice of c into a, or ac, and cos of what, cos of that angle which we are finding, that is opposite to the side which we are taking or finding into consideration. Okay, similarly for c square, the easily you can formulate your answer. Okay, now I can deduce these three relations from this, first, second and third. This is first, I'm talking about, this is second, and this is third. So if you have to find the angle only, then I'll transpose this to the what, to the left hand side, or I am making what, I am making cos a as the subject. So I have already made you understand that we can make the subject as cos a. So you will get these three formulas directly. So I hope you got the application part of cos, and we'll move to the questionnaire part to understand, as the more we solve, the better we understand. Okay students, I hope you have noted the cosine rule. Now let's understand the application part of cosine rule. So first, the question is given that you can read, find the length of PQ for triangle PQR, correct to three significant figures. Okay, so this is the triangle that has been given. Now you can see that the sides, two sides are given. I have to find the missing side, and similarly two angles are given. So directly you can apply the cosine rule. First, we can understand the application part by denoting as per the formula. Now you can denote this as angle A, so this will be denoted as smaller a. Okay, similarly B can represent this as P vertex. Okay, so representation of P vertex is denoted as B. So this length 225 will be denoted as smaller b, and this you can denote as smaller c, and this q as capital C. Now how to apply? So you can directly apply the cosine rule. So write the formula with me along with the values. So a square, that is x square, will be equal to square of the other sides, that is b square, plus b square plus square minus 2 multiplication of both the numbers, that is the sides b and c, multiplied by cos of the angle that we are taking opposite side, that is opposite to side x, that is 75 degree. Now you can find the answer. Okay, you can solve it with me also. 225 square plus 310 square minus 2 multiplied by 225 multiplied by 310 and multiplied finally by cos of 70 degree. So this is coming as to be, students, what? 110,619.7432, which is the value of x square. So x will be equals to root of this. So 110,619.743. So if you do a root of it, you can directly do a root of it and find the answer as coming as to be 332.59. But I have to find the answer in three significant figures. Three significant figures, if you'll evaluate, this will be coming as 333 up till 3 figures. Okay, I hope you got the concept of this. Now you can practice and note this first. Okay, students, I hope you have solved the question. Now you can see this in this given question. The quadrilateral ABCD is made from two triangles, as you can see here. That ABD is one triangle and another triangle is BD or BCD. The vertex is not relevant in this. So basically the order is not relevant. To find the length of AD, I have to find this length. So first of all, my prime goal is to find the common link and then we can find the other sides. Here in this triangle, as you can see in ABD, if I am able to find the length BD, then these sides are, we have got the sides, okay, and I have been given an angle between that. So I can directly find with the help of a cos rule or cosine rule. Okay. Now how to find BD? So simply you can apply the trigonometric ratios. So opposite side I have to find and adjacent has been given. So which correlation correlates opposite and adjacent? So yes, tan theta is equals to BD over, this is CD or DC. So tan 44 degrees is equals to BD. I don't know the length of BD. I'm keeping it as it is. Now DC length is given as to be 76. So BD is coming as to be 76 multiplied by 10 of 44 degrees. So you can find the value of this length BD. So this is coming as to be what? 73.39 is the length of BD. So this length is coming as to be 70.9. Okay. Now I can apply the cosine rule in this triangle. So in triangle ABD, in given triangle ABD, so I can see here that I have to find this length AD if I am naming it as X, okay, and this side is given as to be 73.39. So this side I'll consider this as A, okay. Now directly you can apply the formula. The more you practice, you'll be able to understand that if I am being given the opposite sides or the adjacent sides and the angle between them, then I can only consider the opposite side as A and apply my formula directly. A square will be equals to what? Square of opposite sides or the sides between the angle. This will be coming as 63 square plus 73.39 square minus twice of 63 multiplied by 73 73.39 multiplied by what? Cos of the angle opposite to the finding side. So this will be cos of 79 degrees. So a square will be coming, as you can evaluate directly with the help of a calculator. So 60 square plus 73.39 square minus 2 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 73.39 multiplied by finally cos of 79 degrees. So this is coming as to be what, students? 7590.65. Okay, now a will be equals to of this, as value of a square we have evaluated 7590.65. this will be coming as what? Root. So this is coming as to be 87.12. Okay, I hope you got the concept of sine and cosine rule. You can note this along with the formula that we have studied, and then we'll proceed further. Okay, students, I hope you got the concept of sine along with cosine, and we have solved some questions related to it. Now let's move to another topic, that is called as area of triangle. So how to find area of triangle if only we have been given all three angles and perpendicular to the base is not given. So simply you know that if I have been given the height of a triangle, so area is simply what? Half multiplied by the base on which the altitude is touching and multiplied by the height, that is the length of the altitude. But what if I have been given as the angles and no altitude is given? So for instance, let's suppose this is the triangle, as you can see here, this is the triangle ABC. Okay, now if I want to find the height, as the area of the triangle remains the same, so if I am taking this angle as C into consideration, so you can see that this side will be what? This side will be B sine C. Okay, so height is automatically evaluated as B into sine C, and you can apply the formula directly. So that will be what? Half multiplied by base is given as to be A and B sine C. So how to remember that? So what you have to do, students, you have to take the angle, that is angle into consideration, the middle angle that we are talking about, and the sides that are in between the angle, means the surrounding the angle, so that will be taken along with the different alphabet. So what I'm trying to say, that sides will be A and B, and the angle that is coming with sine will be the third alphabet, that is C, and we have to take angle, so we are taking the angle into consideration. So formula is termed as half multiplied by sine into C. So you can note this down. This is the general formula which we derive from sine value of this. Okay, so we'll proceed further for solving the question to understand better. Okay, students, let's solve some questions, or a question to understand the concept better. So here I have been given a triangle. Here there is no altitude. So either you can draw an altitude and evaluate your answer, or directly you can apply the rule of triangle, that is finding the area, that is half into multiplication of A, B and sine of the other alphabet, that is C. Okay, now I can term this as what? You can see that this side is given and this side is given and this angle has been given to me, and as I have said, you can directly apply the formula. So if I term this as A, okay, and this as B, or and this as C, okay, or you can directly write it as this angle is termed as what? This angle is between, so we can take into consideration the other sides, this is A and this is B directly. So this angle will be what? This angle will be A. Similarly, the angle that is opposite to smaller b is B, and this will be what? This will be angle C, and the side will be a smaller c. Now you can directly apply the formula. So formula for area of triangle is what? Okay, that you can recall, half multiplied by a multiplied by b multiplied by sine of the other alphabet that is left after a and b are is what? That is sine c. Okay, so half multiplied by a is what? 6.7, as you can see here. Similarly, b is what? 5.9, and sine of what angle is given as to be 81 degree. Now substitute the value in the calculator and evaluate your answer. 0.5, that is half, multiplied by 6.7 multiplied by 5.9 multiplied by sine of 81 degree. So your answer is coming as to be 19.52, or you can write up to 3 significant figures, that is 19.5 centimeter square. Okay, so I hope you got the concept of this. You have to just see that these sides are given and the angle is lying in between, so you can directly apply the formula and pre-assume that the sides are either a or b. You can take any of the order, that will not change your answer, and the angle between them is called as the other angle, that is c, and you can directly apply the formula. Hope you got the concept of this. Now you can note this down and we'll proceed further. Okay students, I hope you got the concept of sine, cosine and application of area of triangle formula. Now let's solve some difficult question to understand the trigonometric concept better. So if we have been given three-dimensional figure, then how to solve it? So we will understand with the help of an example. So here you can see the diagram shows the cuboid. Here HD is given as to be 4. Okay, EH is given as to be 6.5 and EF is given as to be 9.1. So since it is a cuboid, so you can derive that the opposite sides will be of the similar length. So this is 4, so this length will also be equals to 4. Similarly, this will be equals to 9.1 and this is 6.5, so this length will also be equals to 0.5. Okay, now I have to calculate the angle between that is this diagonal across the cuboid and the base CDHG. So what do you derive from this, or what do we deduce from this, is that the angle between the diagonal across the cuboid and the angle between the base is what? The angle between the diagonal of the base and the length CE. Okay, so if we have been given that what's the angle between the base and the diagonal, if we have been given into consideration, then we need to draw the diagonal of the base, or the side that we have been talking, or the face or the plane that we are talking about. Okay, so what we'll do students, we have to draw a line. Okay, now you can match it here. So this is what? This is the angle or the theta that you have to find out. So this is the diagonal of the base and this is the diagonal across the cuboid. So if we find the value of this theta, that will be equal to the required or the desired answer for the given question. Now how to solve it? So if we want to solve this right angle triangle, that is CH, I need the length of CH first. As you can see that CH is missing. Now from this triangle CDH or HDC, I can derive the value of CH. How? Let's find out. So here you can see that if I'm drawing a triangle, let's suppose this. Okay, so this is the triangle H, D and C. Similarly, this triangle is a right angle triangle since the edges are at right angle. So HD is what? This is 4 centimeters. Similarly, CD, as we have evaluated, this is 9.1. So how to find the length of CH? You can use the Pythagoras theorem. The Pythagoras theorem, this CH will be equals to what? Root of 4 square plus 9.1 whole square. So you can evaluate students. 9.1 square plus 4 square, and I'll take the root of it. So my answer is coming as to be what? 9.94. Okay, now I have the length of CH and I'll take the triangle that is into consideration, that is EHC. That will also be a right angle triangle, as you can imagine from the back side that this angle will be formed, this H angle will be formed as of 90 degree. Now we'll redraw another triangle for our understanding. Okay, so this side will be H and this is what? C. Okay, now I have the length of CH as what? 9.94. okay, now I have to find this angle. This side has been given as 6.5. now what you have to do, you have to find the missing angle. Now I have been given the side opposite and the adjacent. So which trigonometric ratio correlates the adjacent on opposite? That is tan theta. So tan theta would be equals to opposite over adjacent. This is coming as to be 6.5 over 9.94. So theta will be equals to what? We have to take the inverse on both the sides to eliminate this tan theta from the left hand side. Okay, so this will be tan inverse of 6.5 over 9.94. So you can evaluate. So this will be what? Shift tan inverse, bracket you'll put. So this will be 6.5 divided by 9.94. So your answer is coming as to be what? This angle is coming as to be 30.18 degrees. Okay, so in these type of question in cuboid, you have to imagine that which angle will be 90 degree and you have to take into consideration which side needs to be taken for solving the question, and the triangles needs a right angle triangle if possible. In these type of triangles or the shapes, only right angle triangle will be applicable in major of the cases. You can note this down along with these triangles for your understanding. Okay, okay students, now let's proceed further and solve another question. This is the important question. You need to focus on this, that I have to find x when sine x is minus 0.866 and cos x is minus 0.5. So in this case, we have been given negative values for sine and cos. Now you have to recall that concept, that I'll draw the quadrant formation here. So I hope you remember this, that this is the first quadrant, this is second quadrant, this is third quadrant, this is third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. I hope you are getting it. Now what we have studied, all school to college. So this is what? All trigonometric ratios will be positive. In this only sine, in this only tan, and in the fourth quadrant only cos will be positive. Okay, now in these type of question, you have to see that in which axis, or the quadrant, in which quadrants the value for sine is negative. So x will be coming as what? Sine inverse of minus of 0.866. So either you can use the direct value, or you can see that if you are taking directly the sine inverse of the value, that is 0.866, that will also aid in deriving the answer for you. Okay, now if I'll find this value is coming as to be near about 59.999 degrees. Okay, so if I'll round it off, so it is coming as to be 60 degree. Now this value of x is coming as to be 60 degree, but I have to show that what is the value of x when sine x is minus. So in which quadrant we see that sine is negative? Sine is negative in what? Sine is negative in third quadrant, and sine is negative in the fourth quadrant. So this will be the angle that we are taking into consideration for the third quadrant, and this will be the angle that we are taking into consideration for the fourth quadrant. Similarly, what you can see here, students, that if I have to be in this quadrant, so I'll add the angle in 180 degree to be in this quadrant. So first case, the value of x will be what? Value of x will be 180 degree plus 60 degree. So this is coming as to be 240 degrees. Similarly, if I'm talking about the fourth quadrant, this will be what? I have to what? Subtract the angle, that is theta, from 360 degree to be in the fourth quadrant. So value of x is coming as to be 360 degree minus 60 degree, that is 300 degrees. Okay, now we have solved the first part. Similarly, if we'll move to the second part, I have been given the value of cos x degree is equals to minus 0.5. Here also we are talking about what? Cos x is minus 0.5. So here you can see that x will be equals to what? Cos inverse of minus 0.5. So this will fetch me the answer as additionally 60 degree only. Now I have to find in which quadrant the value of cos x is negative. So here you can see that cos is negative in either third quadrant, okay, in this third quadrant, or in the second quadrant. So cos is negative in either third quadrant or in the second quadrant. Okay, now if I am talking about the second quadrant, either what I can do, I can subtract the angle from 180 degree. So I'll be in the second quadrant. The value for x will be what? 180 degree minus 60 degree, that is coming as to be 120 degree. First, this will be the value of cos x, where cos x is equals to minus 0.5. Similarly, if I am talking about the third quadrant, I'll add the angle into 180. I'll add the angle in 180 degree. So the value of x in third quadrant will be 180 degree plus 60 degree, that is coming as to be 240 degree. So I hope you got the concept that if the value of sin x and cos x are given as to be negative, then you have to formulate your answer according to the quadrant diagram, and you have to see in which quadrant the trigonometric ratio is coming as to be negative, and you have to specifically find two values. Okay, kindly note this along with this for your better understanding in future, students. Okay students, so we have come to the end of trigonometry part 2. Now you can study and learn more, and you can practice more questions related to trigonometry. For more details, you can always watch our videos. Till then, stay tuned and stay learning. Thank you. Let's walk on the path of knowledge together by liking, sharing and subscribing to our channel.